Hey, what's up? Today, I'm going to tell y'all a story about an old boy I used to know. Now, back when we was younger, this old boy, he was a troubled child. He was kind of like the class juvenile. He was the class juvenile is what he was. And when we was in high school, we went to a big old high school. And in this high school, there was this water fountain. And this water fountain shot a continuous stream of water out of it. You couldn't turn the darn thing off. And it was real nice to just bend over and get you a drink of water out of it there and wouldn't have to push no buttons or nothing. And this old water fountain, we'll get back to the water fountain. Now, we was in school one day, and this old boy I knew, he had a biology class. And on this particular day, he decided to actually go to the biology class. That wasn't something he normally did. It wasn't really one of his favorite classes. And on more than one occasion, he decided that he wasn't going to go to that biology class. But on this here particular day, he was a-going. Because on this here particular day in biology class, they was dissecting frogs. And he wanted some of that. And there he sat in the biology class. He had a big old frog in front of him now. I mean, that son of a gun was big old frog. And he was sitting there listening to the teacher. And that's another thing he didn't do a whole lot of. But he was on this day. And that teacher says, that teacher did, he says, now the first thing we're going to do is cut the head off of the frog. And that old boy's eyes lit up. You know, he was ready to get into cutting up some frogs. And so he took his knife there, that old boy did, and he cut it off. And law, let me tell you, son, he didn't just cut it off, he cut it plumb off of there. And the teacher says, now what we're going to do is you take your frog's head, wrap it up in the paper towels that we give you there, and throw it in the wastebasket in the corner. Well, this old boy kind of had another idea, because he kind of sat there with that frog in his hand, and he was looking at it. He was looking at it, and his mind was just erasing, because he had all kind of possibilities popping through his head of possessing a frog's head. So he thought to himself, wrong answer. I'm not going to be throwing my frog head away. So he took his frog head, wrapped it up in the paper towels that they give him there, and stuck it in his down vest. So remember when we used to all wear down vest? And what he did is he planned this with his frog head. He waited until right before the class was over, about 10 minutes left to go in that there period, you get that classroom there, and he went up to the teacher and he says, teacher, that's what he said. He said it right to him too. He said, teacher, I need to use the bathroom. He said it right to him. I swear he did. And that teacher says, well, why can you not wait until the end of the classroom period? And that old boy says, no, I cannot, because that it is that I have to go now. And the teacher says, well, okay, you go on to the bathroom then. I guess that teacher just felt like, hell, I had him for 50 minutes today. That's more than I usually have him for. So he let him go, and off the boy went to the bathroom. Except he didn't go to the bathroom. He didn't. Now, you remember that water fountain we was talking about? It just so happens that there water fountain was located right outside that biology class. And what that old boy did next, son, he took that frog out of his pocket there, opened his mouth, stuck it on top of the water fountain so the water would shoot up out of his mouth. Lord, let me tell you something, son. He went back in that classroom and he was a-shaking. He knew he'd done something good. He knew this one was going to be good. But he had to get through the next 5 minutes of class, because if someone saw that frog head out there now, they'd know that it was him that did it, because nobody'd been out of that classroom. So he's watching that clock, son. And it's down to 1 minute. And he's watching it 45 seconds. Oh, Lord. And then he's watching it, and right about that time he heard the scream. And that little girl that screamed out there in the hallway, the good Lord blessed her with a set of lungs. Lord, everyone heard that poor girl scream. And he knew right then that he was busted. And now, I don't remember exactly how much my daddy had to pay to replace that water fountain, but I remember thinking to myself, boy, water fountains sure are expensive. Yeah, that was a rough day right there. And them licks I got from the principal the next day were rough too. See, they usually paddle you with that paddle there. And if you do something real bad, you get one lick. And if you do something really, really bad, you get 2 licks. Well, it must have turned out that I'd done something really, really, really bad, because my butt hurt really, really, really bad after he paddled it there. And the next thing that principal did kind of shocked me. I couldn't believe it. You know what he done? Give me a 3-day vacation from the school there. Just sent me home for 3 days. I thought it was great. And I remember that vacation because I was sitting there at home the next day listening to the Aerosmith Toys in the Attic on 8-track, sitting on the couch looking at the women's underwear section of the Sears Roebuck catalog. I remember it to this day. Hey, maybe next time I'll tell you a story about how that principal's paddle come up missing. Some old boy, heathen, broke into that nice principal's office and stole his paddle. Some kids.